Mississippi app, and you can always find us too on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station, and you can watch Good Things. We are on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. So when is the last time you visited your local community theater? We've all got one, at least near, if not near in the next county. Probably has one for you. But Pike County's got a new production coming up, and Randy Bullock is joining us today to tell us a little bit more. Hey, Randy.
Hey, Rebecca. How are you doing today?
I am not complaining, Randy. It is Friday. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. And it's, so it's a good day. How about yourself?
Oh, we're doing good. A little worn out from rehearsals, but we're getting this show ready to go next week.
So that's it. The curtain opens February the 15th, and it runs through the 17th. So what y'all got cooking there at Pike County Little Theater?
Well, what it is, it's called A Tribute to the Carol Burnett Show, Season 5. And the reason it's Season 5 is, obviously, this is our fifth one.
Okay, so y'all have done this one before.
Well, not the exact show. It's a different show every year. The Carol Burnett Show ran for 11 seasons, so there's a lot of available sketches. Let's put it that way.
Do you think this will make it through number 11?
We'll see. We'll see. I've had people tell me that I've got to keep this going for another 30 years or so. I don't know if I've got that in me, but hey, we can always give it a try.
You can always give it a try. Okay, let's go back 5 years ago with season 1. I'm sure you didn't call it that. You probably just said the Carol Burnett Show. What was sort of the idea behind it? What of all the things you could have done? Why this?
Well, that's a strange story, and believe it or not, I just told this story to the cast last night at rehearsal. Is in 2019, I'd heard about another community theater somewhere up north. I don't even remember where now, but they had done a tribute to the Carol Burnett Show. And I said, that's a cool idea. So long story short, I pitched it to the board at the Pike County Little Theater, and I was told that if it was going to be done, I'd have to direct it, to which I said, no. But they said yes, so I put it together, and they wanted a one-night-only show. Just a one-night-only show special event. And somehow that one-night-only show in January of 2020 sold out, and we added a second night and sold it out. So we just said, okay, maybe we've got something here. And then I like to tell people after we finish that show that we set off a global pandemic. That's because that was 2020.
I wouldn't take credit for that, Randy. I'd let somebody else take credit for that.
I'll let that one slide. But anyway, the next year they came back to me and they said, would you do it again? So we called it A Tribute to the Carol Burnett Show 2, the sequel. And then when that one did well, even coming out of the big C word, we said, we've definitely got something special. So we did a third, and we just called it Season 3. So since then, we've Season 4, and this will be Season 5.
Why do you think it's connected with people, particularly there in Pike County or surrounding areas that can make it to the Little Theater? Why do you think, other productions I'm sure have had big turnouts, but why do you think it has such the following, this particular one?
It's something about, it's very timeless. The comedy in it is timeless. If you've ever watched the Carol Burnett Show, it's just as funny now as it was in 1967 when it first came on. And there's something that just sticks with you. And it being sketch comedy, at the same time, you don't exactly always know what's going to happen. I always tell my cast, and they get tired of hearing this, but I tell my cast that if this goes exactly according to script, I will be the most disappointed person in the room. Because if you've ever watched the Carol Burnett Show, they did everything they could to try to crack each other up while they were on the air.
Which added that level of excitement and that level of anticipation, especially if the audience kind of knew that going in, which I assume by now you've probably had a lot of people who have come to all 5 seasons. Within your cast there, Randy, do you have a lot of actors and actresses who have made it through all 5 seasons?
I have got 5 members of my cast who have been with me since the very beginning. And others, I've got some that have done 4 years. I've got some that's their first year. But I have five of those core members who have done this with me every year, and I'll shout them out. I don't mind shouting them out. Thomas Beck is one of them. We've got I'll save her for last there. Thomas Beck, our very own Super Talk's own Heather Thurgood Wilmoth is part of this show. Lady by the name of Debbie Watkins, Marley Myers, and somehow the fifth one who's been with me the whole time is Riley Bullock. I don't know how she got in with that last name.
I was thinking, is she, connected to the director at all? Is there any
maybe just a little bit? That's my daughter, and she's a big theater buff as well.
Oh, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Do you get to be in it at all since you are directing it, Randy?
I do. I guess you say I usually just put myself in as a host, and I come in between sketches, tell what's coming up with the next. But occasionally, I do insert myself in, and I have I've done that this year. But I'm not gonna. I haven't even told my cast what I'm doing.
Well, that would be no fun. Then then they would have time to prepare, and they couldn't improvise on the spot,
right.
which is part of it. Who's Carol Burnett? Does she have an actual role? Does she have an actual character?
Carol Burnett, she played many different characters.
I gotcha.
Just like her entire cast did. And I have different people who are taking on the Carol Burnett roles in different ways. I guess you could say as the host of the show, I'm even taking on one of Carol's roles. So,
how much fun was it, Randy, to go back and maybe watch her seasons of the Carol Burnett Show to sort of get prepared for each season of the tribute to the Carol Burnett Show there at Pike County Little Theater?
Believe it or not, I never get tired of watching it. I've watched, and I thought I had seen everything. This week I've seen 2 sketches that I've never seen before, and I'm thinking, is there any way? So I'm putting that on the back burner for the moment.
So you're preparing for Curtains to Rise February the 15th. So that's coming up next Thursday through next Sunday? Math is hard.
It will be through next Sunday. We've got our show times. We've got 7:30 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening, and then a 2:30 matinee on Sunday. And then we'll close it up and let the next production have the space and let them start working on theirs.
You mentioned that it sold out at least the first year, and then for the sequel, and then so is it to sell out quick? Should people buy tickets in advance, or do you think there'll still be some at the door?
There should still be some at the door, but I would advise people go ahead and get them in advance. You save $2 a ticket by getting them in advance, or $10 in advance, $12 at the door. But I always encourage people to go ahead and get them early. But we're looking forward to it. We always have availability there at the door.
If we've never been to Pike County Little Theater, maybe we want to drive in for it, be a fun little post-Valentine's date night, or just something new to do with the fam. Where are you located?
We are located on State Street in Macomb, and a lot of people get confused. There is another theater there on State Street as well called the State Street Theater, and we are actually just a couple of doors down from that. But, if you come down to State Street and look for the Depot Theater, that's near the tracks, Depot Theater, obviously. But anyway, I wasn't prepared here. I'm pulling up the actual address.
You're fine. It's located 206 State Street. You have that right in Macomb, and what you sort of sent me.
206 State Street in Macomb.
And that theater is special. What's the little bit of a history behind the theater?
Well, it's one of those things where the theater for a long time, after it came into being back in the 80s, and for a long time it had to share space with other places, and they finally were able to get a dedicated space, which is what we use now as the Depot Theater. It's what we call a black box theater, so it's not one of these huge auditorium theaters. It's a very small, intimate venue. It usually seats between 75 to 100.
Well, that's a good intimate show. That's a good crowd. I'm saying you're going to sell out, yeah.
You may end up getting some of the cast falling on you. No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to promise that. So.
Now, don't let Heather hurt herself. She's a friend of good things here. We need her healthy and stable.
We try to keep her healthy, even though I did tell her the other night when she came into rehearsal, I said, okay, you weren't here when we blocked this out. I need you to stand over in this spot. And one of the other people said, isn't that where the cups are going to fly through and hit the wall? I said, Okay, Heather, we'll move you to the other spot.
Randy, it's always a pleasure having you on Good Things. I know I can say break a leg for February the 15th, and folks need to come out to Pike County Little Theater for a tribute to the Carol Burnett Show Season 5. Wishing you sellout shows for all the nights, Randy.
I'm hoping so, and you and Rhino are invited. Come on down. You know the director.
We appreciate that. All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for